respect to this, but it's like a peaceful protest.
Maybe my chair again.
Nobody has touched your chair.
Nobody ever touched my chair.
I gotta put this on.
Oh, shoot.
Bang.
So, Mr. Brooks, I guess I'll mute. God, why do I feel like a little kid? Let's see. Where's my mute button?
I already muted mine, so you can leave yours on.
Okay. Okay. And we'll switch when Martin comes up, is that right?
You can just leave it.
Okay.
You probably can.
What? No. Opt out what? I feel like we're just like packed in here tonight.
Well, we have room down here.
Yeah.
Do you guys come up? You're gonna shove them out?
I think I get away from him. You know, I don't think get closer. I'm trying to get away from him.
So look, there we go. See, now my stuff is exposed.
Or you trying to get to a better.
Holy smokes.
Smoking holy?
There we go. Now it looks skinny. Okay. Time we got.
Yep,
Hi.
we're late.
Are you ready, Mrs. Anderson?
I am.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, June 15th at 7:01. If I could please get everyone to silence your cell phones and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mrs. Anderson, did you bring agendas with you? Chief, do you have an agenda out there?
Yeah, there's one right here.
Oh, never mind. Mrs. Anderson's got me. Thank you very much.
You do with that.
Ms. Anderson, I'll go ahead and take the roll.
Councilmember Graham? Here. Councilmember Rounds?
Here.
Councilmember Plaza?
Here.
Councilmember Chapman?
Here.
Councilmember Frederick?
Here.
Councilmember Smith?
Here.
Councilmember Hall?
Present.
All right, all councilors are present. The mayor this evening. Real quick before we start, Mr. Brooks, are you recording your portion? I don't have that control. You see it? There we go. All right, thank you. For those of you that are joining us via Facebook right now, or sorry, YouTube, join virtually via GoToMeeting. Please see instructions at the bottom of our agenda, which can be seen online. There's a link along with phone numbers and an access code if you'd like to join via the computer. For those that are watching at home this evening. All right, moving on to presentations and proclamations this evening. We do have two lovely young ladies with us this evening with our Planters Days Royal Court this evening. So at this time, I'll have each of you step up to the podium one at a time and introduce yourself to council.
Okay. I'm Princess Emerson. I am the daughter of Will and Heather Finn. I go to Woodland High School and use their Running Start program, and I participate in soccer and basketball for high school. And after high school, I plan to go to Clark College and pursue my dreams as a dental hygienist. So nice to meet you all. Hi, I'm Princess Ashley, daughter of Gordon and Jessie Burney. I do Running Start through Clark at the high school also. I play soccer, track and cross country at the high school. I'm in a couple of different clubs at the high school too. In the future, I want to work towards my acceptance to the Air Force Academy to become a fighter pilot.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Scared of her. That's what I'm talking about. Are you guys speaking this evening? Planters Days at all, or just the girls?
Yeah,
I didn't know if you were.
something information.
Mrs. Boucher, did you want to give a report on this week's festivities since there's been a change? I'll have you step up to the mic, please. This is me smiling right now. Oh my God, thank you for being so willing, Mrs. Boucher.
Okay, so this is off the cuff because usually I have a script. So after lots of discussion and heartache, and we moved to a whole virtual scenario this year in order to keep our tradition alive. So we've started out with our, actually Alicia should have probably given it. She's been doing the events with Keith O'Brien, our president. We started out with support our small businesses, and we're asking people to take pictures of themselves as they support one of our businesses to be entered as in for a prize. We've got things going on every single day. We've got the history, a lovely presentation that was done by the museum, and Aaron Thorney. It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's got a lot of old-time pictures, a lot of history, a lot of fun stuff there. We've got an amazing video with our past queens that we did it for the 90th celebration, and so we've been missing everybody after that. And Jamie, what's Jamie's last name? Nicole Miller had done it for the 90th celebration, and she was kind enough to give the rights over to Alicia so she could add our last few queens. So now we're up to date, which will be really exciting for the 100th. Wow, the Hanson family has still doing the frog jump this year in Walt Hanson Senior's honor. So it's 53 years, I believe. That will be all virtual as well. We've got pets with personality, so we've got a lot of our normal traditional elements just in a virtual format. So we're asking people to, have their kids do the chalk art, put a picture on Facebook. So
Awesome. It's going to start on Thursday?
we've actually started some already. We won't have a traditional coronation on Thursday, which is a little sad, but we will on Saturday. We'll still see who becomes Miss Woodland. And the drawing still will go on Saturday as normal at 3 o'clock.
All right. And those that haven't purchased tickets yet, how many more opportunities do they have?
They have to support a specific princess to become Miss Woodland. They have until Thursday.
Okay.
After that, they're still out in Columbia Bank, Federal, and Federal.
Never done them.
So Columbia Bank and True Valley.
Okay.
So you can still get them there. And then on Sunday, we'll be downtown in the normal place, and you can still get them there last minute.
All right.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thanks.
And I heard something about fireworks. Still.
Will be fireworks, but same, it's virtual. So our fireworks display people, they actually sent us the 2019 video, so we will have a video of it. If you got a big TV, throw it up on your TV, and you'll still get the same experience. We just don't get to sit down at the park.
All right. Perfect. Thank you very much. These are the first princesses to receive the new logo. Princess, is that for you? For your staff there. Thank you very much. And I know that we don't have one yet. Our new ones. Oh, there you go. All right. Get up here and take your picture with me. I wore purple on purpose.
You need a bigger mask.
Oh, here, I'll keep my mask on for one. And then go. Oh, I'm smiling like you can see me under here.
You can tell by the eyes, it's fine. Okay, it's appropriate.
All right, one more.
I was going to say, do you want to take your mask
They are
off?
pretty.
They got the mask line. I love it.
You got this, boys? All right. Thank you, ladies.
That's it. I'm tired.
Thank you for because I think we were all set to go in March, weren't we? Yeah.
Shut down.
So, I know you guys missed out on some fun stuff this year with traveling and getting to hang out with each other and get to know each other a little bit more. So, now on to items. I'm not seeing anyone in the room or online at this point, so we'll move on from that. Moving on to the agenda this evening.
Move to approve the agenda.
Okay.
Mr. Plaza?
Yep.
Okay.
We have a,
It's been seconded, right? Add an action item. I'm not sure if that needs to be done now or if it can be done later.
Well, if we just approve
So
the
you'll-
agenda, kind of,
We're taking a vote, yeah.
well, that's true, so we can, okay.
Would you like to add it to the, as action item F, Mr. Fredericks?
Well, I would. It doesn't mean the rest of the council would like to add it as action item F, but
Just need a second?
no, with permission. Otherwise, the only way you can do this with a motion and a second is amendment.
What'd you say?
I said, I don't remember when I was writing them, I don't remember.
Presentation.
Section 8, I think,
Section 8 voting.
yeah.
or is that 5?
Motions, section.
I'll make a motion to amend the motion that is currently on the floor, Full Police Officers Association, with respect to modification of overtime and authorizing the mayor to sign such MOU.
I'll second.
Moved by Councilmember Fredericks, second by Councilmember Williams. Councilmember Fredericks?
No discussion. This one came in late, and I have requested that it be added to the next agenda so the public can be made aware of this as well.
Councilmember Rounds?
No comment.
Further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, will the clerk please take the vote on agenda amendment for a memorandum of understanding between the City of Woodland and the Woodland Police Officers Association for modification of call-out and overtime procedures allowing the mayor to sign.
Just
Councilmember Fredericks. Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
The amendment to the motion has been approved. Back to the agenda approval by Councilmember Peralta, second by Councilmember Smith. Will the clerk please take the vote?
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks. Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Clark.
Aye.
The agenda has been approved with the addition of action item F. Moving on to reports of City Council.
I've just been busy with the planners day, so
Okay.
getting ready for the weekend and hope everybody enjoys what we've done this year.
Haven't been doing much of anything.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Moving on to reports of standing committees, Public Works.
We had a meeting today at 5:30, and our next meeting will be 7/20 of 2020. And on the water, the cross-connection program, we're up to date on cross-connections with the reduction in staff hours. This will be top priority for the part-time staff, ops staff. WTP miscellaneous, pigged the rainy line today, pigged it back to April. No concern yet, but keeping track of pigging. Water, half-gallon reservoir to council for approval on contract for repair and cleaning. 1 gallon reservoir to council for cleaning. No water turn-offs due to COVID-19. Replace water meters for non-consumption lists. We're replacing 2 2-inch meters, one at the city shop and one at the HSL trailer park. 2 new meters installed for Mishan Bond off Lewis River Road. Water leak at 2328 Lewis River Road near PUD substation repaired. Lift station, backing out the lift stations 3 and 6. 4 and 7 will be done at a later date. Grease trap, we have started up with the restaurants that have opened and are keeping our employees social distancing. Old Pacific Highway and utility improvements, which is Scott Hill,
99% completed with the project. Sidewalk is in and drainage is done. Road patching still left to be done. Expect to wrap up month end with closeout in July. Streets, Transportation Improvement Plan 2021-2026 adopted and approved. Street sweeping is done around town. We have had complaints on Spruce and Salmon Street due to poor shape and our inability to sweep. Asphalt repair projects have new lists for repairs going out to bid next week, with repairs being done in July. Parks, Horseshoe Lake, planning on hot summer nights and movies in the park to start in late June or July. Trees were broken off near shoreline we had to remove. We need to plant a new tree. Looking at pricing right now and budget. Parks, miscellaneous, all parks continue to be sprayed and mowed. Other roundabout, the Kiwanis Club group is scheduled to come out Saturday the 20th to clean up the roundabout.
I'm happy to see that.
Yep. Grants and miscellaneous. Our Recreation and Conservation Office, grant application submitted and presented for our first round on 6/26 of 20. The TIB funding application, in the midst of reapplying for TIB funding and for Davidson Club and North Pekin Grind and Overlay. These projects were not granted funding last year. Federal Highway Crossing Program, grant application submitted for railroad pedestrian crossing on West Scott Avenue on May 27th. This is needed for the TIB funding in place for Scott Avenue full depth reclamation. Total project cost $365, matching fund $84,000. This will come out of the road fund and sidewalk fund. And that's it.
Questions for Councilmember Rounds? All right, thank you, Councilmember Rounds. Moving on to public safety.
We had our meeting this afternoon, and, you want me to hear Joe?
I'm good, I can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nobody else can.
Or me, that might be. We did have our meeting this afternoon, and we did have two of our officers attend our meeting, and it was nice to get to meet them. And our discussion basically was just they were updating and going over the MOU that we will discuss later today. And Chief Jackson reported that about fireworks. There are 4 applications in for selling of fireworks. At Don's Donuts and someplace on Lakeshore. I'm not sure that exact location. Walmart and Safeway. And to remind everybody that the new ordinance goes in this year. There's new timelines, time frames for selling purpose in the shooting of fireworks. So everybody needs to be aware of those situations.
Chief, do you have that off the top of your head what those restrictions are changing to this year? Because I don't think we have another, I guess we have one meeting before the 4th of July. Or is that a question for Mr. Jackson? Chief Jackson.
Chief Jackson has a pretty good handle on that.
Yeah.
I'm not positive of the change. I know there's restrictions on sales and when you can and can't use them, so I'll defer to Chief Jackson.
Chief Jackson.
Yes, sir. This year's sales will begin on the 28th of June and go through July 4th. This charge will be limited to July 1st through July 4th. And we work to publish this information as well in paper, social media, and those outlets.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Certainly.
Can I ask a question?
I was going to say, Mr. Fredericks, do you have a question about fireworks?
I do.
Okay.
So the 4 stands that are selling fireworks, are they actually educating as well? Is that something that they can help us with, or is that something they're not going to help us with?
We have asked them to, and we'll provide them information, but they're not obligated to do so.
Okay.
But I think most of them have been pretty helpful and cooperative, and we'll help help us with that effort.
Those fireworks stands are within the city, those are all fundraiser type stands, correct? That's not for business?
I believe one of them is for profit and 3 of them are fundraisers.
Okay. So do you think that there's a piece of propaganda that we can get to them to pass out? Is that the plan? Or?
Yes, we will provide them information to hand out and post. We're within a legal setup for that.
Thank you, Chief. I think propaganda.
You'd asked about the detailed information for discharge and sales times, which we will provide them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's educational materials. So just to make that clear for all those watching at home this evening. Moms, I should have her get up and introduce herself.
Right? She should have done it.
She's in this one, wasn't she?
Yes.
Should say element.
And I thought we were told we had to start these.
You can make her own.
7:56. I was running my mouth in the gallery. I know. We're going to workshop. We're in a workshop now. The time is 7:56. This is a utility rate study. Is Ms. Coleman in? Are you going to be joining us for this?
I am joining.
You need to be in there. We've got Mr. Martin and Mr. And it says Andrew, but I know he goes by Andy. Andy Baker with us up there on the screen. That's me up on the screen right now. But we're going to switch over to him. He's got a wonderful presentation for you. I've sat through this a couple of times, a few modifications as we've gone here. These gentlemen are very knowledgeable in what they're doing and what they're presenting. This will be one of 2 meetings that will be presented to council. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Mayor, Council, thank you for having us tonight. For the record, Martin Chaw, Project Manager with FCS Group, and with me, as the Mayor mentioned, Andy Baker, also Project Manager with FCS Group. For those of you who do not know who FCS Group is, are you able to hear us, Mayor?
Yes, I'm trying to find the speaker on my computer. You're fine. I can hear you okay though.
Okay, great. Right. For those of you who aren't familiar with FCS Group, we're a consultancy based in Redmond, Washington. We've been in business for about 30 years. We specialize in utility rate studies for mostly for governments. And in our 30 years of doing business, I think we have consulted for nearly every municipality in Washington State. We do business in Oregon and California as well, and we go as far east as the state of Colorado. Tonight, we're going to present the results of the rate studies that we've prepared for the stormwater utility, or the proposed formation of a stormwater utility, and Andy will go through that. And then I will go through the results of the study for your sewer utility. And as the Mayor mentioned, we will schedule a separate session to go over the results of water utility and the study results from that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Andy, and then when he's done, we'll take questions, and then he will turn it back over to me, and then I'll go over the sewer portion of the presentation tonight.
Council members, I want to go ahead and see if I can get my screen working here because we have a presentation for you. Looks like I need to be the PowerPoint.
So Travis, you know I think that should do it. Okay. Well, that's my screen. So.
To be a presenter.
Yeah, I'm sure that.
Andy, get your stuff together. What are we doing?
We're trying to get our screen
that's to share my screen. I think it might be under the 6 with the people.
Got a hammer?
There you go. There you go, make presenter. Up a couple more. There you go.
Okay, now try again.
Yep.
what kind of dollars are we talking about here? And from that evaluation, there are two levels of service that we evaluated. One is what we're calling your baseline level of service. So this is what you currently do today, and just changing how it's paid for. In your baseline level of service, you have no administrative costs. You can, unless you're, I'm sorry, better than mine, you've and I spent a while in South 3. All of these are projects that at your current level of funding and from what we're determining your baseline scenario, the stormwater rate would not be able to provide the funding for those capital projects. Does that make sense? Yeah, feel free to let me know if you want me to clarify anything. So a little bit about stormwater rate options. Stormwater utilities can only be charged to developed parcels within the city limits. The stormwater is not a tax, and so there are limitations on to whom we can charge it. Because it is a charge on with conditional development, we've gone through and looked at your, with thanks to the information out from your county assessors, looked at what parcels are developed, and so only parcels that have improvements on them and thus are contributing to the runoff that is coming off of those parcels over a baseline natural condition, those are the ones that would be charged under the stormwater rate. So number of ways to assess this charge. The proposed approach that we have is what we're calling an equivalent service unit, or ESU rate approach. What that means is that the
you, and maybe I missed this in the presentation, how much money are we currently taking out of the street fund for stormwater-related activities? Current budget? Ms. Coleman, question for you. It's my understanding that according to the previous Public Works Director, maybe a couple of them ago, I lost track, that it was $500,000 for the next 20 years just to be able to appropriately keep up with street maintenance. Is that an accurate number, or is that incorrect?
We're talking about two different things. Street maintenance and stormwater, two totally different things.
I recognize that, but what I'm trying to show here is there is a significant gap between what we can pay for and what is needed.
Oh, absolutely.
But is that an accurate number, $500,000 for street maintenance?
Yeah,
And that,
not more.
and that frees, by establishing a stormwater utility district, that frees up that money to be used for street maintenance, correct?
For street maintenance or for stormwater issues, so we can use the money
Correct.
we're using on stormwater for our streets, that's correct. So, yeah, we're saying the same thing.
Right. And so, the other question that I would have is, given the recent cuts that were talked earlier, are we still in a position to be able to fund these street maintenance given the resources that we have in the city? If we have the dollars available, could we still do the activities?
It will cost us more with recent cuts because some of our staff is no longer available to do that at a lower dollar cost. So we'll have to go out to bid and pay prevailing wages, which we pay a pretty good wage as it is. So it's not going to be much more, but it will be a small percentage higher to be able to contract it out.
Okay, and is there any reason why, and I don't know the answer to this question, that's why I'm asking it. Any reason why the city of Woodland is basically the only one not on this list for benchmarking of peer communities currently? Seems to be every city listed in Clark and Cowlitz County on here. Do you foresee the city of Woodland having to comply with federal Environmental Protection Agency rules at some point? Okay, and if it's I guess if it is a census-related item, there's cities on here that have less population than the city of Woodland currently. So there must be something else that's triggering that.
Within the area around larger cities, it comes into play.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Baker, thanks for the presentation. Quick question, kind of bouncing off of Mr. Frederick's info. If we did this and ended up coming under the purview of the state or the federal government, is that going to raise the rates that the citizens would end up having to pay? And during your presentation, you said that this isn't a tax. So if I'm assuming this isn't an optional thing where residents or homeowners can back out of it. Am I correct?
Yeah, so the way this would be implemented as the way it's typically implemented is that schools are only utility bill, and it would be charged to every developed parcel would be subject to it, so you establish that as a development within the city.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Baker? Thank you, Andy. Amen. All right. Martin, you still with us? All right, we'll go ahead and kick it to you now.
And thank you very much.
That's me. You guys are way too serious today.
No. Yes.
Yes, we just can't see you.
Okay, great.
Dave doesn't see you.
I'm not wearing my glasses.
I gotta make this smaller here a little bit.
I was looking for the guy.
It's not relevant.
Okay. Thank you very much for the introductions. Andy, thanks for your presentation. So I will go over the results of the sewer rate study now for you. I've got about 20 slides to go through, maybe roughly 30 minutes, maybe a little bit less. So some of you already started. The purpose of my presentation is to share with you the results of our sewer utility rate study. What we'll cover today for you are the results of our financial plan, and what that means is how are your current rates sufficient to fund your current operating and capital expenses, and if not, what are the increases that's recommended to meet those expenses. We'll go over the revised rates, and then we'll ask for your direction on next steps for the sewer utility. In terms of our overarching principles for developing the financial plan for your sewer utility, and I won't go over this in detail, but some of the major assumptions that we used in our analysis. Number one, starting on the left side, our financial plan assumes that we will fund all existing utility financial obligations. So in other words, maintaining current levels of service. We do have primary engineering FTE starting in year 2025. And that position is included both in the water utility as well as the sewer utility. Total, there will be two FTEs added. The financial plan also fully funds our forecasted CIP over the next 10 years. We maintain our current bi-monthly billing cycle. We also are proposing to extend your low-income discount program to a uniform 25% discount, which would be applied to the entire billing. As you know, your current low-income discount program offers, I believe, a $10 per month discount per monthly period for qualifying low-income individuals or disabled individuals in your community. So we're proposing to enhance that program so that it applies to a entire billing for qualified individuals and households. No changes to the city's utility taxes. We're maintaining your current 60 days of operating reserves. This applies both to your water and sewer utilities. And we're suggesting that in order to meet your long-term needs in your CIP, that we build your CIP reserves up to a level of about $1 million over time to fund long-term capital needs within this utility. Lastly, we do have planned new revenue bonds, and I'll go over those in a second, to fund your CIP. But we would issue those only as needed and only as the financial plan dictates. And lastly, we do understand the times that we're in and the impacts that utility rates may have on individuals and families. So we plan to suggest minimal increases in rates for your sewer utility to mitigate those impacts for your residents. Sorry, I'm turning page on to the next page here. So looking at your sewer financial plan, what we have here is a sewer utility need that's worth about $17 million over the next 10 years. And as you can see, much of that need is heavily backloaded under this study period. You have a need for replacement of blowers at the wastewater treatment plant in the year 2027, and then the dewatering project in the year 2030. And those two projects combined is worth about $14 million. So it's about 8% roughly of your long-term CIP needs. We take a look at your sewer operating needs over the next 10 years. Your expected cost is worth about $33.7 million. What we have here is a graphic that shows both your operating expenses as well as your forecasted revenues under current rates as well as with rate increases. So the way to read this is your bars represent your forecasted operating expenses, and as you can see, the total is about $2.5 million each year in 2020, 2021. And we see that growing over time to almost $3 million over the next 10 years. You do see in the year 2030 a new segment that's colored yellow there, and that represents your debt service for recommended revenue debt or new revenue bonds to finance the large CIP project that's coming up, as I mentioned on the previous slide. The black line is a forecast of your revenues on the current rates, and the dotted line represents your forecasted revenues with rate increases. And the recommended across the board rate increases for your utility is 2.25% each year. And again, that would build the rate capacity and the reserves needed, so that by the time you get to the latter half of your study period, you would have the accumulated reserves green segment that's called rate-funded capital, and what that simply represents is the fund balance for your sewer utility that that we're assuming that we would have available to fund your capital needs as a one-time resource, and it would get built into your reserves and then you grow that over time. As I mentioned, looking at a need for revenue bonds towards the end of the planning cycle. We're estimating that need to be about $7.5 million. And again, the annual debt service would show up in that year on the previous slide. In terms of new sewer rates that we can expect for your residents, we have a table here that shows forecasted bi-monthly fixed charges for your sewer utility, and what we show here are rates for your single family, your discounted customers, non-single family customers, which represent your multifamily and RV customers, and your commercial customers. The city currently has a 150% multiplier for all customers outside of the city, and that's what these rates are based on. And then you also have rates for your major industrial customers. This includes River Carbonates, Hamilton Materials, and then also your customers. And what we see here going forward are the recommended adjustments to those rates over the next 5 years. One part of the rate schedule to point your attention to is within your non-single family class. As you can see, the fixed charges here are decreasing over time, and that is not that's intentional. And what that is doing is we're designing rates so that we are trying to right size the cost of service for the different customer classes. So in other words, your non-single family resident or your non-single family class today is picking up more than its fair share of expenses within a sewer utility. So this strategy here is to, over time, slowly bring that customer class in line with the cost of service, or with their respective cost of service. And the other customer classes, you can see, they gradually increase over time. And again, that's reflecting the system rate increase, as well as to capture capture their proportionate share of cost for the sewer utility. The recommended rates are identified here to become effective December 16th of each preceding year, and that's so that we capture the full year's worth of rate adjustments for your sewer utility. We also have here sewer variable charges. As you know, your sewer utility right now is made up of both a fixed charge as well as a variable charge, and also within your single family class, your variable charge has a seasonal component. That seasonal component, I believe, we have both winter and spring with a differential, and your winter rates are applied during the periods of December, February, and April, and then your summer months are for the periods of June, August, and October. And the billing for the summer period uses the average of your winter consumption from the previous year, whereas your consumption charges or usage charges during the winter months are based upon actual water usage. We understand that dichotomy has caused quite a bit of confusion with your residential customers and your insurance and your utility billing group. Quite a number of calls each year from customers as a result. So one of the things that we're recommending here, and it's built into the rates, is to move your single-family residential customers to a year-round winter average. So, in other words, if I am average of the previous year, and that winter average would apply to every billing cycle in the subsequent year. So I think that should take care of many of the questions from your residents, as well as make life much easier for your utility billing staff. You can see for the rates here, they all gradually increase, and again, it's to capture the increase in rates, as well as the respective cost of service for each customer class. For your industrial customers, Cleveland River Carbonates is their billing is only has a fixed component, and we would maintain that. In the Hamilton Materials, as well as other customers, though their charges would increase as well. Another question we receive often for a utility that has both a fixed charge and a variable component is, with implementing new rates, does that affect that revenue split? And that's for financial planning. What we try to do is look for how much revenues come in from your fixed charges, which of course is very stable from year to year, versus your variable charge, which would go up and down because of how much water the customer may use. In this case, how much water they might use in the previous year during the winter periods. As you can see here, the proposed rate schedule would maintain the current revenue split for your sewer utility. In terms of calculating impacts to customers, what we've done here is prepared sample billings for customers at different usage points. So here we have a graphic that shows your single-family residential billing for three typical customers in your city. A low user, which uses about 1,000 cubic feet of water per bi-monthly period, and this would be typical of a small one or two person household. Typical user at 1,400 cubic feet of water, this would be more typical of a 3 to 4 person household, and then a large user at 2,500 cubic feet would be representative of a household with perhaps 5 or 6 people. So maybe a family of 2 with 2 parents and 4 kids, for example. What you see here is for the low user, you can see their billing would go up by about $8 per bi-monthly period, about $10 per bi-monthly period for the typical 3 to 4 person household, and then about $14 for the larger household, or about $7 per month. The statistics that we present here is inclusive of your current 12.5% utility tax, and as I mentioned, we're proposing that you keep that. For your other customers, your non-single-family residential classes, you can see their billing will decrease, and that's a reflection of the decrease in the fixed charges that I just went over about 3 slides ago. Commercial customers, as you can see, that goes up slightly by about $10 per 2-month period, and then Cleveland River Carbonates, that customer would go up by about, as you can see, about $60 per 2-month period. And then for your remaining 2 customers, Hamilton Materials and non-food customers, their charges would go up as well. For Hamilton Materials, their charge would go up by about $700 per 2-month period, and that's a reflection of the amount of water that they use, and as well. Can you repeat that question?
That wasn't us.
That was.
Sorry. That must be getting some feedback there. Okay. And then for customers, their charges go by about $200 per bi-monthly period. Also asked to update your sewer assessment charge, and what that is it is a one-time charge that's assessed on new connections to your water or to your sewer utility. Calculation is quite prescriptive. It's governed by RCW, and basically what the RCW says is that each new connection shall bear a proportionate share of the cost of the system capacity that's required to serve that new connection. How it's calculated is it takes into account the current value of your existing assets as well as your new, i.e. your future CIP. And it calculates that against your overall system capacity, and we derive that from your system plan. The charges I'll present on the next slide represents the maximum charge that your city can defensively charge. So you have a choice of charging up to that amount, but we would recommend that you do not charge more than that amount. And again, that's so that we protect the city from any potential challenge from, for example, a developer that's paying that charge, and that they want to ensure that that charge represents a fair share of a new connection to the sewer utility. So the recommended change here for assessment charges is to increase that charge from $4,900 to $5,200. This is for a typical 5/8 inch or 3/4 inch water meter serving that property. And that charge would go up about meter size. And as you can see, the recommended charge that we have here increases by a much steeper slope than the current charges by meter size. And the reason for that is we're recommending that the city move to standard ratios or meter ratios as prescribed by the American Water Works Association. And this is industry practice. It's used by many jurisdictions, and it's to reflect basically the amount of water that can flow through a meter of different sizes. And as you can see, it becomes exponentially larger. And again, that reflects the volume of water that can be pushed through different size meters.
Hey, Martin, can we go back to that slide, please? Because I think when we look at those numbers, can you tell us where? Because when you look at it like that 4-inch pipe, when you're looking at $44,000 connection charge and going up to proposed $131,000, I think when I saw through this presentation the last time, I have a lot of concerns with this slide just because of some of the increased costs. And I've got Ms. Coleman in the room now as well. Where does the city of Woodland live on this piece of paper with new development? I think that's important to tell that story. Do we live in the 5/8 to 3/4 in the 1-inch area mostly?
Mm-hmm. Yep. We have very few 4-inch. We only have maybe a handful of 4-inch. Majority of them are 3/4 inch. We have another couple dozen 2-inch. Those are from all your large manufacturers and stuff, but mainly it's your residential area are your 3/4 inch. We have a few 1-inch. That would be like the laundromat in town. And it used to be a 3/4 inch. So know that we're on the low end side for what other cities, I hate to use that, other cities are charging, but we really are on the low end side. And so, people wonder how can other cities do it. It's because they're charging a little higher. We are actually at the low end of the fee charges. So this puts us more in line with what other people charge.
So why does that matter?
Well, I'm telling you the reason why they look at it, because when you hire somebody to look at these, you have to look at the all industrial average of all cities, and when they compare that, they look at ours if we had enough money in our reserves and enough money in our budget to be able to maintain our facility, they wouldn't even be looking at these numbers. But when we don't have that, and we have new people coming in and develop, and these new people have to buy into the system, they want to look at how much are they contributing in an overall cost. And the people who are contributing for new development are not contributing like they should be.
So in essence, sewer charges in my mind are a lot like impact fees.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so if someone's coming here and we're charging less than that, then the existing ratepayers are subsidizing.
That's correct.
And covering the cost difference.
Of the money that we're collecting.
For future
this is
capital.
new development.
Yeah.
Or remodels.
Right.
People are remodeling, they're like, hey, I'm gonna do a new process, and now I need to go from a 3/4 inch to a 2 inch, which doesn't happen that often, but sometimes they bump up their size. And don't forget that your water and your sewer are tied together. So whatever we charge for the water, we charge for the sewer as well, connection, because the water sewer out. Same flow in, flow out type thing, unless they can show us that they're using the water. So it's the same charge when you do your hookup fees for, when a new business comes in or a resident comes in and says, hey, I'm gonna hook up to a water and sewer, they'd be paying for the 3/4 inch, and then the sewer rate is assessed to the 3/4 inch as well. We don't assess the sewer for more or less than whatever the water becomes.
Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to make that clarification because I have a lot of heartburn over this slide going through the presentation, so I just wanted some clarification for you folks as well. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Mayor. This last slide simply presents or compares how our current charge as well as proposed charge compares to assessment charges that are assessed by neighboring cities. As you can see, going up from 4,900 to 5,200, City of Woodland remains right in the middle of the pack. As you can see below Oregon and a bit above the city of Camas. As you can see, the charges do vary quite a bit, from a low of $1,700 for Council up to about $9,400 for the city of Battleground. This charge is unique to different cities. It depends on the value of their current assets that's in the ground, as well as their forecasted capital needs, as well as forecasted growth in their city as well.
Mr. Fredericks has a question.
In looking at this jurisdictional assessment here, I'm noticing that our neighbors, La Center, Kalama, and Ridgefield, are all significantly greater. And if I understand, are those areas expanding, and that is why their assessment charge is a lot higher?
I do not know the specifics of those communities, but the driver, or the way that charge is calculated, Councilman, is that it's based upon the value of the assets in the ground as well as forecasted, as well as the number of residential units that's forecasted in their city. There could be a couple things driving it. Number one is there may be there could be a couple things going on. It may be a city, for example, that may not be growing very quickly, but yeah, there are some very large capital needs that's coming. For example, perhaps there's a wastewater treatment plant improvement that they need to fund, or that they need to plan for. So therefore, that cost then becomes spread across a smaller or small customer base, and that's resulting in a much higher charge.
And
so there's
Mr. Cha, can you confirm that when your folks did this assessment, is it taking into consideration the 426 acres that is currently undeveloped right now? Is that included into this? I mean, we're looking at costs associated with sewer infrastructure out in the underdeveloped town 10, 15, 20 years out. Was that taken into consideration at all?
So took into account the CIP that's been forecasted over the next 10 years. In terms of ERUs or the equivalent residential units in your system plan, you have to take a look back at that, what your engineers used and whether or not that included growth within your within those plan developments that you have in the city.
Real quickly, if you'd like.
Yes, please.
So one of the foundational aspects for evaluating your sewer assessment charge is your planning documents that have been developed by your engineers. And so we rely on that to determine the total amount of capacity that your existing system and your plant system has. It doesn't rely exactly on the amount of still undeveloped land. What it looks to is the amount of new connections that can be accommodated by the facilities that you've already built, and then the amount of new connections that will be accommodated by the facilities that are included in your capital improvement plan. So I don't know exactly how that corresponds to full build-out, because the plan looks over pretty much everything we're only including after 10 years is as far as what your UCIP. So I don't know that accounts for full build-out, but it is based on those engineering studies. Next question?
So to clarify, Andy, you did not take into consideration possible capital outlays in an undeveloped area of the city currently. We're only looking at existing.
But does not include the industrial.
Okay.
But there was a growth rate in those capital improvement plans that went forward, but it didn't look at performance considerations.
Got it, okay.
Thank you.
Pretty great, thank you. Andy. In terms of a wrap-up, the recommended rates would fully fund all of your utility operating as well as your CIP obligations over the study period. What we have recommended is we believe it achieves overall sustainability for your sewer utility. Also achieves equity in terms of cost shares between each customer class. We recommend that this rate study be updated once about every 3 to 5 years, or possibly sooner if there are significant changes in your utility, such as the addition or departure of a significant customer, or a significant change in your city's organization and sewer costs. Lastly, we would recommend also that if you do institute these changes that we just recommended, that you consider instituting these early. Shannon does have time to build the new rates into your city's utility billing system, and that way you can parallel test both the charges coming out of your system under current rates as well as under revised rates, and just to make sure that there aren't any surprises or miscalculations within your utility billing system for your customers. That concludes our presentation. This slide has contact information for both myself and Andy. Those are direct lines as well as our email addresses. Well, if there are questions that you feel are unanswered here, feel free to call or email us, and we would be happy to address your questions.
All right, thank you, Martin. Is there any questions related to the second portion of the presentation?
Mr. Cha, on slide number 9, can you explain the single-family discount? What does that mean? And I see, the single family, and I see that one's coming down, and I understand why it's coming down. What is considered non-single family?
Councilman Frederickson, that would include your RV customers and your multi-family customers, i.e. your
Like multi-family housing?
Yes.
Okay. And then, okay, got it. Outside would mean someone who's outside the city limits, correct?
Yes, outside
Got
the
it.
city
Yeah.
limits.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Chair? Okay. Nothing else. Thank you, gentlemen, for presenting that. And I don't know, do we have you scheduled for the second portion of this yet?
We have not scheduled that yet. So I will bring back a similar presentation for the water utility once that is scheduled.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, guys. If there's nothing else, we appreciate your time and presenting the information.
Thank you. We're going to sign off.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. You too. Yeah, they're not coming. Mr. Fredericks has a question for you.
Mr. Boyce, I'm looking at the agenda for this, what we just went over, and on there's a council direction to consultants, next steps for city council. Is there a page that we're going to discuss that, or?
Well, we wanted some conversation between the councilors to see if we're going down the right track. But we realized that some of this discussion will probably have to wait until you hear about the water and utility rates. Because when you consider impact to the citizens, you're considering the overall impact of utility rates. So that may be just a little bit too early, but we can have that discussion after the water utility rates.
Okay. And do we have an ETA on that?
Not yet. We're hoping first or second meeting in July.
Oh, it's coming.
It's coming, yeah.
Okay.
The work is complete. It's just a whole lot of information to take in, so we just need to make sure the schedule with FCS works and the city council.
Okay.
We're going to overwhelm you with information either, and that's why we've decided to break it up into a couple of different presentations, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Miss, I'm going to go back real quick. Let's see, what time is it here? If there's nothing else for the workshop? Anything else for the workshop? Okay. It's 9:06, we'll be back in the regular session. And just go back real quick to Chief Jackson. I did ask him to give a report this evening on two different items, even though it was not the extended report session and I got sidetracked. So I'd like to bring him on now. Chief, I'm going to turn it over to you.
A quick report on the chief discussed a fire that we had on the 28th at your last meeting on the 1st of June. That fire was up on Bozarth. We had a good stop there on that fire. We had another fire on the 7th of this month. That was at 169 Murray Loop. With this particular fire, it started in the garage. It developed fairly well before we got there. Our crews had right around a 6-minute response time, which there's not, from the fire station, there's really not a further point in the city they can get to. So it was actually about 20 or 30 seconds under what would be our prescribed response time from there. So it was pretty effective. They did make a good stop with confining the fire mostly to the garage. There was slight extension into the house, some smoke and heat damage, but the majority of the damage was confined to the garage. This fire, we did get some mutual aid assistance from Fire District 1 as well as some of our other neighbors. If you recall the previous fire, they weren't available, but we still did get some mutual aid from a few of our other neighbors. Other just very quick items to report. We mentioned earlier fireworks. We will be getting information out on that. There are 4 stands that have approved permits through us. Those stands are located on Lewis River Road, Lakeshore Drive, 28th of June and go through the 4th of July, with discharge being limited from July 1st through July 4th, and we'll work to get that information out. Other very quick notes, the chief did a brief virtual town hall meeting on last week regarding the potential annexation. There was a few folks that logged in and had a couple of questions. There is additional town halls planned for the 23rd, as well as 2 in July. And if you know or hear of any opportunities where we could speak to get information out so that folks can make an informed decision with the August election for the annexation, please let one fit for a presentation on that. We'd be happy to share that information. And that's all I have. Unless you have any questions.
Questions for Chief Jackson? Seeing none, thank you, sir. I apologize I skipped you. It was that accident.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does council need a break? We have 4 action items to go. Does council need a break? I'm seeing some. Okay. Let's take a quick 5 minutes. It's 9. We'll take 6 minutes.
Thanks for getting the water.
You bet. You okay?
Yeah, no, it was setting off my field starting.
Oh, yeah. My ear here.
Yeah, I had to take it off. My skin was really itching. My throat was starting to not do well. I did. I don't want to wear your squints.
Carl goes into another hacking attempt. His temperature before he came in here.
Right.
It's my new granddaughter.
Congratulations.
She's in her little unicorn bathrobe and looks like it's a 2X, you know, because she's so tiny.
Is this a new picture?
She just turned me, and then I send them to great-granddad
Nice.
via text, so. She's such a...
Could you see that from over?
If he had a presentation, though, we'd all be like, oh.
Determined voting delegate for the Association of Washington Cities Business Meeting. Here's one. ABC requests the city to designate one delegate to vote on the city's behalf and one backup. This year, ABC is having an online meeting June 23rd through June 26th. Registration is free but limited. The business meeting takes place June 25th at 10 a.m.
So is it possible to discuss the person before the motion?
We can.
Because how are you going to make a motion?
Yeah. Do you just want to have an open discussion then? Full disclosure, I believe Mrs. Holland has already registered for the meeting.
Perfect.
Am I the only one?
And the backup.
I need to try to attend as well. So, but this has nothing to do with me. This is a strictly council. Right. So I can't be one of the members. No.
Ms. Holland, do you have an objection to being a delegate?
No, I emailed Mary back and said if nobody else wanted to do it, I'd registered. It just seems like a formality. They're voting on their bylaws and stuff.
So the backup is in case it's like an alternate, right? So if you're going to then technically we don't need a backup.
Well, it's online, so.
Yeah, it's online, which is good.
Can I make a motion?
Oh.
I'd like to make a motion to delegate Deanna Holland for the Association of Washington Cities business meeting to act on behalf of the Woodland City Council.
Second.
Oh, Fredericks, seconded by Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Fredericks.
No discussion, thank you.
Councilmember Rounds.
No discussion.
Further discussion? All right, will the clerk please take the vote on action item C for appointment of Councilmember Holland to the AWC business meeting.
Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds? Aye. Councilmember Graham?
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Councilman Frederick, sorry.
I thought you were going to say no, because
I've changed my mind.
Action item D, authorize the contract with the Washington State Department of Commerce regarding CARES Act funding.
I make a motion to authorize the mayor.
Perfectly honest with you, a lot of it I just didn't clue into because I don't speak legalese that well. But are there specific things that we have, that this is directed towards, or?
So examples would be purchasing masks, PPE, sanitizing equipment, cleaning services, management time related to COVID-19, such as the police chief attending the IMT meetings in Cowlitz County. It can't be used to reimburse the city for lost revenue, like sales tax changes we were talking about. And it can also be used to grant to small businesses. We had that discussion earlier.
Which the mayor talked about, right?
Right.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we have staff tracking their time, when it's COVID related. So we think, the 189,000 is more than enough for the city to recoup its expenses. And we should have money to be able to share with the small group.
In order for us to be open?
Well, there are safeguards that have to go into place. The state's not going to tell us exactly how to do that, but we do need to provide for either social distancing or barriers to prevent the transmission of the disease.
Right.
There are going to be requirements once we do open that the state is putting in, such as log. So there's a number of items we'll have to comply with when we do open the doors.
That's a discussion for another day, I guess. And just to be clear for people that may not know, this is a grant. It's not a loan. It's not something that the citizens are going to have to pay back through taxes or anything like that, correct?
Right.
Later. So,
The
yeah.
city of Woodland will not be asking the taxpayers
Right.
to reimburse, but everyone still pays federal tax. And
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant. No new taxes. Theoretically. Okay.